Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by rolling green hills and trees that whispered secrets to the wind, there lived a young woman named Zuwaira. She was the pride of her family and the envy of every girl around. Her skin glowed like the morning sun, her eyes shone brighter than river water, and when she smiled, even the grumpiest elders forgot their worries. But beauty, they say, can be both a blessing and a curse. For though Zuwaira was beautiful, her heart was filled with pride. Men came from near and far to ask for her hand in marriage, farmers, hunters, traders, and princes, but she turned them all away. "They are not good enough for me," she would say, tossing her long hair over her shoulder. "If I must marry, it will be to a man whose beauty surpasses all, whose wealth outshines the sun, and whose voice can make the world stand still." Her mother, old and wise, tried to warn her. "My daughter," she said, "you do not know the heart of a man by his looks or his riches. Beauty fades, gold rusts, but a good heart endures." Yet Zuwaira would not listen. She believed she deserved someone extraordinary, someone not of this ordinary world. One evening, just as the orange sun began to sink behind the hills, a stranger rode into the village. His horse was whiter than milk, his robe made of fine silk that shimmered like moonlight, and his face, oh, his face was perfect. Not a scar, not a blemish, just pure beauty that made everyone who saw him gasp. The air around him seemed to hum softly as he rode through the streets. He went straight to Zuwaira's house and said in a calm, deep voice, "I have heard there lives here a maiden whose beauty rivals the dawn. I have come to take her as my wife." Zuwaira's heart fluttered. Never had she seen such a handsome man. He spoke gently, moved gracefully, and when he looked at her, she felt like she was the only person in the world. Her mother looked uneasy. "Stranger," she said, "who are you, and from where do you come?" The man smiled faintly. "I come from a distant land, beyond the mountains where the rivers glow at night. My people are great, my house is vast, and my love for your daughter will be eternal." His voice was like music, and his words melted Zuwaira's heart. She insisted she would marry him, despite her mother's tears and warnings. The villagers whispered that no one had ever seen this man before, but Zuwaira ignored them. The wedding was grand. The stranger brought gifts of gold and silver, strange jewels that glittered like captured stars. The drums beat through the night as the couple danced beneath the moonlight. But as dawn approached, the stranger whispered to Zuwaira that they must leave at once for his home. "It is time for you to see where I come from," he said. "My people await their new queen." Without saying goodbye to anyone, Zuwaira followed him. They rode for hours, the morning sun giving way to clouds, the road growing darker and narrower. The trees around them became taller and twisted, their branches forming shapes like long, crooked hands. The air turned cold. Even the birds stopped singing. "Are we close to your home?" she asked. "Yes," he said softly, his voice no longer warm but distant. They rode deeper into the shadows until the path ended in a vast, silent graveyard. The tombstones leaned like tired old men, and the ground was covered with dry leaves that whispered beneath the hoofs of the horse. Zuwaira trembled. "Why are we here?" she asked, her voice shaking. The stranger said nothing. He climbed down from his horse, and when Zuwaira looked at him again, she gasped in horror. His handsome face was fading, his skin turning pale as ashes, his eyes hollow and empty. The fine silk robe that had shone like moonlight now hung in tatters. His white horse was nothing but a skeleton, its empty eye sockets glowing faintly. "Who are you?" Zuwaira screamed. The man smiled, but it was no longer the smile of life. "You wanted perfection," he said in a voice that echoed through the graves. "You wanted beauty that never fades. I am he. I am perfect, for I belong to the world where no man ages, no beauty fades, and no heart beats. You are my bride now, and you will dwell with me forever." Zuwaira tried to run, but the ground beneath her feet felt heavy. Cold hands, bony, unseen, grasped at her legs, pulling her toward the largest tomb. The wind howled, the trees groaned, and faint shadows began to rise from the graves, spirits whispering and laughing in the darkness. She screamed for help, but her voice was swallowed by the night. Just as the ghost dragged her toward the tomb, a blinding light flashed through the graveyard. It was her mother. She had sensed her daughter was in danger and had come carrying a calabash of holy water, blessed by the village priest. Chanting ancient prayers, she cried, "Spirit of the dead, release my child," and flung the water toward the ghost. The spirit shrieked, a terrible, piercing cry that made the earth shake. Smoke rose from his body, his handsome face twisting in pain. He turned into ashes and disappeared into the wind, leaving behind only his tattered robe fluttering in the dust. The spirits of the graveyard sank back into the earth, and silence fell again. Zuwaira collapsed in her mother's arms, trembling and crying. They returned home before sunrise. For days, she lay weak and pale, haunted by the memory of that horrible night. When she finally recovered, she no longer spoke with pride or vanity. She became humble, gentle, and kind, warning every young girl who came to her for advice. "Be careful what you wish for," she would say quietly. "Not every handsome face hides a living soul. Beauty without heart is emptiness. Pride can blind you until you walk hand in hand with death itself." And so, Zuwaira lived the rest of her life in humility, her story told for generations as a warning to the proud and the vain, that the world of the living and the world of the dead are not meant to mix, and sometimes, the most beautiful things are the most dangerous.